thecasesolutions.com. Hey guys, this case is about the Boston Beer Company Incorporated Case Solution. The Boston Beer Company. Boston Beer Company, BBC, is one of the leading beers-making company in the craft beer segment in the United States. Boston Beer Company, BBC, belongs to the German family sixth-generation business. Jim Koch, founder of the Boston Beer Company, analyzes through research that people of the United States wants the change in quality and taste of the beer they are drinking. Boston Beer Company, BBC, sales growth and market increases dramatically in the recent few years as they are using quality raw material and using the traditional approach of Europe for its high-quality beer. Question number 1. Your assessment of the intrinsic value of Boston Beer at the time of the IPO, including a discussion of the underlying assumptions and the basis for them that you have employed. Answer 1. Intrinsic value is the real value of the company by considering all the tangible and intangible factors of the organization. Beer Company, BBC, intrinsic value is analyzed through some practical assumptions of the financial management that has taken the value from two of the major competitors of the company. Now, further explanation about the intrinsic value. It is calculated through taking the price-earnings ratio of Peet's Brewing Company and Red Hook Ale Brewery on the average basis, then multiplying this price-earnings ratio with the actual earnings per share of the Boston Beer Company, BBC. The price-earnings ratio of the company indicated that how much time company has earned on its share price. Earnings per share shows per share amount that the company has earned on its floating shares. The average price-earnings ratio of the competitors Peet's Brewing Company and Red Hook Ale Brewery is taken as the standard price-earnings ratio for the Boston Beer Company, BBC, as both of these companies have recently done their initial public offering, IPO. The market norms shows that beer industry average price-earnings ratio should be 68 times. The real earnings per share of 29 cents of the Boston Beer Company, BBC, are taken as it is mentioned in the financial statement of the company. Now, intrinsic value is calculated by multiplying both these factors, that is price-earnings ratio and the earning per share discussed above. The intrinsic value of Boston Beer Company is $17.68 per share. Question number 2. A sensitivity analysis that explores the impact on your valuation of variation in assumed terminal revenue growth and EBIT margin. Answer 2. Sensitivity analysis shows that what changes occurs in certain variable if there is change in another variable. Sensitivity analysis of revenue and earnings before interest and taxes shows that how much earnings before interest and tax of Boston Beer Company is sensitive that if any changes occurs would change the earnings before interest and taxes. Now if there is a 10% increase in the sale of the Boston Beer Company of the last year 1995 sales, earnings before interest and tax of Boston Beer Company, BBC, would increase by 16% as compared to increase in sale of just 10%. Earnings before interest and tax in the year 1995 are 6.91% of sales. If there is an increase in sales of 10% in the year 1995 of the Boston Beer Company, the earnings before interest and taxes to sale ratio will increase from 6.91% to 7.32%. If there is a decrease of 10% in the sales of Boston Beer Company, BBC, in the last year 1995 sales, earnings before interest of tax of Boston Beer Company would reduce by 16%. Meanwhile, if there is a decrease in sales of 10% in the year 1995 of the Boston Beer Company, the earnings before interest and taxes to sale ratio of 6.91% will decrease to 6.42%. Question number 3. Your IPO price? Answer 3. Boston Beer Company, BBC, is going to sell its shares to the general public through an initial public offering, IPO. The average market price of the competitors Peet's Brewing Company and Red Hook Ale Brewery is $25.875, which is assumed to be as a par value for the Boston Beer Company, BBC. The intrinsic value of the Boston Beer Company, BBC, is $17.68. The Boston Beer Company should launch its initial public offering, IPO, at a discounted price as the intrinsic value is less than par value set. This is just a sample partial case solution. Please place the order on the website to order your own originally done case solution. Thanks for watching this video. Please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. If you want any case study, visit our website thecasesolutions.com.